Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Stéphane Gigondet. I'm the founder of Open Food Facts, which is kind of like a Wikipedia for food products. So we actually eat a lot of data every day. Most of us eat 3 times a day, and that's the kind of data you eat. So ingredients, nutrition facts, allergens, additives. And it's not really open data. This is like, it's like a PDF. It's even worse than a PDF, in fact, because it's like a printed PDF. So next time, if you go to a store and if I ask you to make a data-driven decision to select the best, the healthiest breakfast cereals for you and for your children, it's going to take you maybe 1 hour. You will have to turn all those packs and compare all those numbers, and probably the store employees will be very mad at you. So that's why we thought it would be interesting to create a kind of OpenStreetMap for food products, a big database of food products where we would have all the data about food products in an understandable format. And I'm trying to go to my next slide, but it doesn't work. Do we have to aim this somewhere? Up? Yeah. Okay. So I'm sure all of you know OpenStreetMap, and OpenStreetMap for us was a revelation. We thought if OpenStreetMap can do it for maps, we can do it for food products. So we stole all their good ideas. We are using crowdsourcing, so we have mobile apps to scan the barcodes of food products. We ask contributors to take pictures of ingredients, nutrition facts, and all that goes directly to the Open Food Facts database. And of course, we use an open data license, which is the Open Database license, the ODBL, which is the same license as OpenStreetMap. And that's what openfoodfacts.org looks like today. So, and there are two obvious uses for a database of food products. One is to try to decrypt all this information, look and to make it searchable so that you can find breakfast cereals that have no allergens, for instance, or less additives. And the other very obvious use of this data is to compare products. So if we go back to our breakfast cereals, oops, oh yeah, I forgot some numbers. So we launched 4 years ago, and today, in fact, we are going to announce that we reach 100,000 products from many, many, many countries. I hope you see your country in there. So comparing products, this is something, a graph that you can do in 3 clicks on the Open Food Facts website. Here I decided I wanted to see all my breakfast cereals, and on the horizontal axis I put sugar, and on the vertical axis I put fat. And then of course you can use your mouse and click and see what kind of breakfast cereals are almost 50% sugar, or you can look at what are the healthier alternatives. So those are uses that you can do directly on the Open Food Facts websites. But as we create and produce open data, it has been reused in many, many, many different services and applications. I'm going to show you some of them. This is a nutrition education game. So we show a random product, like a liter of apple juice, and we ask people to put the corresponding amount in sugar cubes. And if you're wondering, for this product, it's about 26 cubes of sugar. This is a mashup of OpenStreetMap and Open Food Facts. On many food products, there is a small code that identifies the manufacturing place. So we were taking those codes and we translate them to cities and coordinates, and we put them on a map. One thing that is interesting is that you can then zoom in and see for a particular factory what kind of products do they make. So for instance, in Spain, there is this factory, and it produces tomato sauce for actually many different brands. So another reuse that we are very, very proud of is that our data has been reused as the basis for scientific studies. In France, in particular, there is a proposal for a new simplified nutrition system, those A, B, C, D, E grades, something that would be much more readable than what you see on the right side, which is what the industry is proposing. And so we were very happy that we could help researchers to support their data and their proposal. So the formula to compute those ABCD grades was verified using Open Food Facts data. We computed it on 30,000 products to check that it has a good distribution of grades for products. So if you can look at breakfast cereals, and some will be graded A, B, C, D, A, and you can take that into account when you buy your cereals. So food is very important, but we thought, why not do this for other kind of products? So we are starting with cosmetics, makeup, soap. This is my soap that I use every morning. And if I don't know if you can read the ingredients, but to understand the ingredients for soap, you have to speak Latin, you have to be a chemist. It's very, very difficult. And so we discovered we learned a lot of things when working on Open Food Facts, and we are sure that we'll learn even more things working on Open Beauty Facts. And lastly, I wanted to highlight a point is that when we think about open data, most of us think about the public sector. But in fact, a lot of data of public interest is not in the end of the public sector. It's in the end of companies. And what's interesting is that we are a non-profit. Our annual budget is about 500 euros, and we are all volunteers, but we can do interesting things together. We can do citizen science. And so I thought it was an interesting point to make, is that open data is not only the public sector, and all of us can do it. It's not only the government. It's not only, we don't have to trust companies in deciding what is right for us to eat or to wash ourselves with. That's it. I hope you like this presentation, and I'm hoping that all of us will join us, and that instead of 4,600 contributors, we'll have 400,650 contributors at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Stéphane. This was a very nice presentation. I liked it very much. I take many things out of your presentation. One is, I just said earlier, and the previous presentations also emphasize the importance of having the right policy environment so that facilitates data exchange and knowledge exchange and so on. That's why I mentioned the sector kits that will be explained tomorrow for different sectors. But policies are not just with governments. And two things about policies. First, before you can transform data into policies, you must make sense out of it. And you know what? Governments, they're people too. So they also need, like us, some help in making sense out of the thousands and thousands of reports and data that they get. So tools like the ones you've defined, Stéphane, and Atifri and Agis and others are excellent tools to help them better understand the situation around agriculture and nutrition and elaborate good policies. But also what I get from your presentation is that policies are not just from government, for governments. They're for you. And they're for you in two ways. One, using this app, for example, you can decide that for my family, I don't think we should eat anything that has more than 15% sugar in it, for example. And once you decide that, you have the means to implement it without spending hours at the grocery store trying to figure out what's written on the boxes of stuff that you buy. And then the second way you can influence policies is that if you correlate this information with, let's say, WHO information that says maybe that anything beyond 15% sugar is bad for you, then maybe you can ask your government to regulate it. So policies are also influenced by you and me in that sense. And thanks to tools like this one, we feel more empowered to do that. That's what I take from your presentation. Now, enough for me, and let's take a few questions from the audience to any of our panelists. I'm sure you found some interesting stuff in there, as I did. So now's your chance. We have a microphone circulating at the back, so just raise your hand and we'll be glad to give you the floor. The light is very bright, so you have to sometimes maybe signal, but I saw a hand here, so yeah, and please mention your name and who you ask the question to.
Sure, thank you very much. My name is Leonard Zelstra. I work for ICO Corporation. It's an international NGO. And I just had a question, being inspired by the latest presentation. We work on, let's say, the issue of sustainable sourcing of ingredients, for instance. I was wondering whether it would be possible in this food map to include basically also data that would indicate whether the ingredients that made the product have been sustainably sourced, for instance. We're talking about sugar, but actually has this been produced in a sustainable, environmentally sustainable way and providing livelihoods for small scale farmers and things like that. It's just a thought, but I would be interested to explore it further with you, because then we basically create a society of very conscious consumers that also not only know about health value, but also about social value of the product.
Thank you. Christina, would you like to, you have to speak loud or come here. I think the question was for...
That was more directed to Stefan.
To Stefan? Oh, okay. Please. So we should have taken a mobile phone.
So you're right that this is like a Pandora box, right? The more you start to look into what you are eating, the more you want to know. And for instance, this map of where products are manufactured, the next question is obvious, is I want to see where the ingredients are coming from and what they are made of and who made them and where they sustainably farmed or not. We would love to do that, but today we have to rely on what's written on the package. And so far, well, it depends a lot on producers. But for instance, we have honey that says, well, it's a mix of honey from the European Union and the non-European Union, so we don't know much. Certainly try to bootstrap that by working with producers who are giving information about the location of origins of ingredients. And in fact, on Open Food Facts, you can have a similar map with the origin of ingredients. You mentioned the fair trade, and we do index when there is a fair trade label, and we can generate a map that shows, for instance, where the fair trade products are coming from. And it's a very interesting map because I thought, well, fair trade is all the countries in the South, in South America and Africa and all that. And in fact, when you look at the map, a huge part of Africa is missing, and that's because, well, it's mostly coffee and cocoa. So yeah, that would be very interesting to add. All this information is information that I feel as consumers we have a legitimate right to know. This whole thing about trade secrets and all that should go away, and we should know what we are eating, where those ingredients are coming from, and who made them. So I'm very much hoping that by showing these kind of examples, we'll push people to ask for more transparency.